Rapper Tory Lanez is back in the headlines, but not for music. He's filed a federal lawsuit for $100 million against the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, the warden guards at CCI Tehachapi. According to the lawsuit and multiple reports, Tory says he was stabbed 16 times last May, back, torso, head, face, by inmate Santino Casio with a homemade shank. He claims collapsed lungs, permanent facial scarring, and says he had to be airlifted to a hospital. Prison officials confirmed there was an attack on May 12, 2025. Casio is serving a life sentence for second-degree murder, first-degree attempted murder. Here's where it gets even wilder. Tory's team says this could have been prevented. The filing argues officials knew or should have known. It was dangerous to house Casio with a high-profile inmate. Protocols were violated by placing them together. The claim uses phrases like deliberate indifference to foreseeable violence and says officers weren't there when the stabbing went down. He's putting numbers on it too: $1 million per stab wound, plus an additional $10 million tied to facial injuries. And it doesn't stop at the attack. Tory alleges that while he was fighting for his life in the hospital, guards seized his personal belongings. Songbooks, unpublished lyrics, legal notes, saying those pages had substantial commercial value. Let's ask the questions that matter. Was this a targeted attack? Was security lacking? Or is this just how dangerous prison can get, especially for high-profile inmates? Because, let's be real, violence behind bars isn't new. But when a celebrity gets hit like this, suddenly everyone's watching. And a lawsuit this big forces a spotlight on inmate safety, staffing, housing decisions. Officials haven't litigated this in court yet, so these are allegations. But if even part of this holds up, we're looking at a massive conversation about how prisons handle risk segregation emergency response. Especially when the paperwork says there were no flash grenades, no smoke, or less lethal rounds used to stop the attack. I'll keep it straight, accountability has to be more than a buzzword. If the system can't protect people it's responsible for, no matter who they are, that's a failure that affects everyone inside. This is Jigga TV with Jigga News. Let's jump into it.
Rapper Tory Lanez breaking his silence in his first ever broadcast interview from behind bars since being found guilty of shooting Grammy winner Megan Thee Stallion in the foot outside a party in 2020.
I've never been violent towards a woman. I would never hit a woman, let alone shoot a woman.
Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, spoke to NBC News from California Men's Colony, a prison where he's 3 years into a 10-year sentence after being found guilty on 3 felony counts, including assault with a semi-automatic firearm.
There is definitely a very big misconception about me that seems to the public as I'm this monster. And I feel like I was catapulted into this poster child for the unprotection of Black women. And it's just so unlike me. And I've never really had a chance to express that. But you can look at my criminal record. I don't have one. I never had one. And I feel like, that connotation that I would do anything of this monstrous proportion is completely incorrect and it's wrong.
Lanez declined to testify during his 2022 trial.
Do you regret not taking the stand?
I think if I would have taken the stand, the verdict would have definitely been very different.
The rapper's legal team filed an appeal, which was denied in November. But his team is continuing to fight, with plans to file multiple appeals next week, this time with the California Supreme Court, in one claiming newly discovered evidence that they weren't provided during Lanez's 2022 trial, including hundreds of pages of medical records for Megan Thee Stallion, whose real name is Megan Pete, which they allege raise questions about the fragments removed from her foot after surgery. His team argues that the fragments were not provided ahead of trial and that this was a violation of due process.
And we didn't have that chance. Or perhaps we could have questioned the doctors differently when they were on stand to impeach them, because it does look suspicious.
But in the appeal denied in November, the court did address the fragments, ruling that the surgeon's testimony was, quote, more than sufficient to prove great bodily injury on Pete. Proving something like this on appeal is tough.
This is a really, really difficult appellate argument for defendants to prove, because they have to show if the evidence actually came into court, the jury would have found differently. It's an uphill battle, and it's something that often torpedoes any defense appellate argument.
The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office and representatives for Megan Thee Stallion have not responded to NBC News' request for comment.
I believe not only that I was wrongfully convicted, but the amount of new evidence that has emerged since that trial, I think, has been overwhelming.
What has life been like in prison for the last couple of years?
Truthfully, I've done my best to keep my head above water, but mentally, I've gone through trauma that I sometimes even struggle with, because I never imagined myself dealing with things that I would have to deal with. I've been stabbed 17 times. I almost lost my life.
If you could say something to Megan Thee Stallion today, what would it be?
I think that I wouldn't say something directly to her. I would like that moment to happen in person. We've both gone through a lot. There's this connotation that, like, I share this hatred for her, but I don't. I genuinely passed that. I'm at a place of healing in my life. I'm at a place of taking accountability for the things that I did wrong. And when I talk about my case, I don't want it to be taken as me coming at her, because it's not that. I'm just asking for somebody in the system to look at my case and look at the evidence and ask if this was fair.
Jigga TV, kids, it's the one.
Jigga TV.
You already know.
You already know that.
It's your boy CJ, man. Shout out to Jigga TV.
You're rocking with the best.
What up, y'all? This is Ice Spice in the mix with Lamont Pete, aka LA Drake.
Hey everyone, Lamont Pete here, representing JiggaTV.com. I'm calling on all artists, creators, and business owners. This is the place to be for amazing resources. Our platform offers a wide variety of membership options and expert coaches to guide you on your journey to success. Join us and unlock the full potential of your talents and ventures.
You're in the mix. Lamont Pete, aka LA Dre.